It's 10 o'clock. We're going to get started here. Good morning, everybody. How we doing out there? Hope you're doing good. We got Brad this morning. We'll talk about here in a little bit. Q&A is set up. So Brad will be taking the Q&As after we do our session here in a little bit. First of all, I want to kind of go over a little bit of market update, what's going on out there. First of all, we are kind of in the spring market. It's not the same as last year's. I got that. But you got to understand, last week, we had 1,139 new listings. We had 1,767 pending deals. So we are still writing more contracts than we're bringing listings on the market. We're seeing multiple offers, especially in the first-time buyer market. We're seeing contingencies come together. We've had backup offers that are now coming together. And so we're seeing a lot of changes there in that formula. Also, 500 price reductions we've been talking about the last 3 weeks. So people are getting reduced to get sold. And, we had a situation where one of my son's friends found a piece of property that he wanted, a house that he wanted with land on it. He had a home to sell, and he saw that house come up, got his home sold contingent, bought that other house because he wanted to take advantage of 3.25% interest rates. And he's secure about his job. So you got to understand, if you're listening to the national media and all that stuff, I understand. You got to turn it off. You got to look at our local market, because you have such a strong local economy still, and people who feel good about their jobs, they're making moves, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So in my database, first of all, if I'm refinanced, if I'm home here and I'm fine in my house, right? That's what I'm finding out now. But if I was in another industry and you called me about refinancing and you could save me $400 to $500 a month, $5,000 a year, $50,000 in 10 years, I'm a happy camper, especially if I'm staying here long term and it makes sense. Some of my clients are going to be like that. Some are going to stay and say, I'm happy here. I don't need to refinance. My loan's good. It's paid off, whatever. Some are going to say, I'm going to wait till after. I want to see what happens in the marketplace. They don't know about their job. Others, there's others who can say, I'm ready to go now if you find the right property. Then there's others, as we're calling our database, you have to understand there's others who down the road might have to sell the property. They might be, right now, they might be doing forbearance and all that. They might not know about their job down the road. But our goal is to be there, care for them, support them along the way. If they have to sell down the road, we're there for them. But right now, we're here to care and support them and truly listen to what's going on. Please realize you're still in a strong economy market locally. We have a health issue, which we've talked about. Whenever the vaccine comes, it comes. The governor, we're getting used to new normals. The governor, maybe in a few weeks, going to ease a few restrictions. Maybe we'll be in masks. Contractors hopefully go back to work. Little by little, be a gradual coming back to the market, and getting used to some new normals on the way out, on the other side of this. They just don't want thing to pent up again. We all have to go back in our homes. So realize there's a lot going on here, which we'll talk about. But there's a lot going on in the marketplace. You have to understand there's buyers out there. The pendings are trending up each week. Okay, so contracts are being written each week. So you got to realize I'd go back to old leads who maybe thought last year they couldn't afford a house. Now with 3.25%, they can. And my database, you just have to be on top of your database like never before and be really relevant on what's going on. Again, we're here to care for them, support them. If they want to stay where they are, more power to them. We're here to support them in any decision they make. So today we're going to talk to Brad. And Brad, he's only been in the business 3.5 years. Last year, him and his team had 73 transactions. They helped 73 families accomplish their housing goals. He was only one deal away from the top 1%. This year already, he has 31 closed and pending deals from his team. And he, right now, is averaging about putting one listing on a week. And he's doing it strategically, which I'll talk about. And so it's really, someone had been in the business for only 3.5 years. At that age, only 32, 33 years old. This is the fastest I've ever seen somebody get up and go, right? And so he came from a sports authority background where he was a manager. And I'm going to talk to him about that a little bit. So we're going to go through a few different things today. One of the first things we're going to start with here in a little bit is how social media has transformed his business. He's going to go through the how-tos and the strategies. So Brad, first of all, welcome. And tell us a little about yourself and your daily schedule, and how does Sports Authority help you ramp up so quickly in real estate?
Okay, well, I am obviously 32 years old. I have a little team of 5, and yeah, we've been going at it for just a little bit. So as far as my past experience, I think more than ever, like with retail, right? Like especially sporting goods, it's so seasonal, right? Everything is changing. every couple months it's a new season, a new sport, parents are coming back in, and you just have to be super, super adaptable. And I think real estate is that same kind of platform. It's very much just seasonal, and I think that we all know that, we've all been through that. But I think the biggest thing is just the adaptability, right? Like we have to kind of swing for the fences sometimes, and sometimes we strike out, and other times we hit home runs. So it definitely correlates. I think right now, especially with listings, I used to joke about like the 5 rights of retail. Is it priced right, signed right, the right people, the right product, and you kind of have to do the same thing with our listings, right? Does it look right? Does it smell right? Is it the advertising? Is it done right? So all of those pieces just kind of definitely correlate between the two.
So what's your daily schedule, and how do you stay on track? And what kind of goals do you have for calling and those kind of things? Kind of go through that with us. You and your team, what are some of your goals that you guys try to accomplish every day?
Yeah, so we're just kind of eating the elephant one bite at a time. We're starting every morning with a daily huddle at 8:30. Some days are longer than others, but it's just an opportunity for us to all get on the same page and talk about really our files. We used to do weekly team meetings, which I think with everything going on, it's just really important to have the face-to-face. So we're kind of just going over those files every single day. And then of course, just what are we trying to do to win the day? I know for me, obviously as a team lead, I have to be the one that's generating all of the leads. Well, I should say all, but majority of the leads. And I think that's where my focus is right now. So it's deal doctoring / making sure that I am generating leads. So obviously I'm a core student. So right now, if you're in the core, you have to make 100 outbound calls a week. So breaking that down into sizable goals daily. I'm following theme days. I like less is more. I know a lot of times we get really overwhelmed. So I'm following the theme days where Monday I'm talking to VIPs, yesterday was all status updates for current clients, buyers that are shopping, and of course, listings that are getting ready to hit the market, and just making sure I'm doing great temperature checks. And then really it's just making sure that we're staying active on social media. I'm obviously making those phone calls and checking in on everyone, whether they're a past client or they're just a pipeline client, and making sure that we're again, we're addressing their fears, but we're giving them really good information. Outside of that, we're doing Letter of the Heart, which is a monthly mailer that goes out every single month by the 7th. We've been doing this for quite a bit. And so I'm working on that each individual month. And then definitely sending out lots and lots of, cards, gifts, thank yous, you name it. So we're staying in front of any of our important members.
Okay. So on your, when you're doing your marketing, which we'll talk here in a little bit, right? Right now, about how many good sellers are you working with that'll come on in the weeks ahead, and how many good buyers are you guys working with?
Well, down payment assistance has obviously changed, so we've lost a couple buyers this last week, but I would say we're probably 4 and 4 right now on each side. I put the last couple weeks, I put 1 listing on the market each week, and I have plans for the next couple to be doing the same.
And how many homes do you have on the market now?
Right now I have 5.
5 on the market. Okay. So can you just run us through how social media has changed your life, your platform, your career, the how-tos, the do's, the don'ts, and strategies? Can you give us a little insight into that?
Yeah, I think a lot of you guys out there know that Michelle runs all of our social media and does a great job. So about a year and a half ago, I decided to hire a full-time team member that kind of runs the show. And at the end of the day, they have the final say. And so, Michelle is really good at coming up with content that is deemed engagement. I think a lot of us on social media are so quick to post just links to articles, which nobody wants to read. We want to sell, we want to advertise that we're $1 million listing agent and our price points. And if you look at our social media, we don't do any of that. We want to be in relation, and we want to build value through trust. And I think that the best way to do that is just by creating organic, content, whether that be a photo of me. And I know a lot of people have seen me around the office with Michelle, where she's, trying to find the best lighting and the best damn angle and, whatever's going to make her happy. But mixing up the content, I think, is extremely important. But as far as business, that's how I built my brand. I mean, obviously, I had a large network from managing multiple sports authorities, but everyone kind of realized that I was in the market and I was taking over at least a little pocket of the market in Maple Valley, where they just saw me consistently, and it's over and over and over of different messages where we're looking at it from different angles. And I obviously have a sales background, and Michelle is more relational, and so she sees it from a consumer aspect. But putting those two kind of concepts together and making sure that we're in alignment and it stays true to our brand has been kind of the best success that we've had.
So where are you posting it? What are the do's and the don'ts, and what kind of online leads are you getting from doing all this?
Well, I think the biggest thing is most of us out there that have, obviously there's some great people, like I think Josh Hall, Rosie Rourke, the Castro team, they all have really great consistent platforms. But I think most of us struggle to be consistent. I think that we decide that we're going to post every single day, and then we only post twice a month. It's like your brand, it would be like you didn't open up your register for, a month. You just decided, I'm not going to post anything. I'm not going to, leave my doors open. People need to know that you're out there and that you are selling real estate and that you're still an agent and that you're still a valuable tool in their personal toolbox. I also think it needs to be a really good mix of things. A lot of us have been to Tom Ferry, and we know that marketing is important, but mixing it up, I personally struggle with it being like my actual lifestyle instead of it being the brand, the Bradley Hanson Real Estate Group. But if you look at any of our posts, the posts that do absolutely fantastic are the ones that are about Bradley Hanson and not about Bradley Hanson Real Estate Group. And so I think finding a good mix of content, whether it's, just listed, just sold, don't post the house with the price, post the family, show diversity. People want to know that they can relate with whoever you're helping with. And I think more than ever, it helps me find new clients because they're like, oh, I'm like them. He's not intimidating. He's human. I can trust him. And I think that it's super important to have that. I also think as far as a lot of people are posting just branded templates. I think that those do well. And of course you need to stay on brand, but I think more organic photos that you're taking with your actual mobile device and is important. And I also think taking the time to find the good shot, don't be afraid to plan it out. I know, like I said, Michelle, she takes a ton of time to be like, nope, this is the idea I had. I want to make sure it's right. This is my thought process. This is the message that's going with the photo. And it takes a long time to come up with good content. I also think it's really important to engage with, the people that are actually commenting and liking and sharing. Anytime someone shares something, it's important to thank them for taking the time to share your brand. And at the end of the day, it's like these are our VIPs. These are the people that are super excited to support us, and they trust us, and we need to give them an opportunity for us to give thanks and be grateful, because more than ever right now, people don't have a lot of money, and if they're taking the time to share your post and engage your post or comment on your post, you should find that to be extremely valuable. And I think it's a great time to, again, like I said, just engage with them, ask them a question, check in with them. How's their day? Thanks for sharing. Oh my goodness. I appreciate you looking at our listing. All of that stuff I think is really important. I had mentioned earlier about just being authentic. I think at the end of the day, we all try to be another version of ourselves when we're, dressed to the 10s and 12s. I think people just want to see full transparency of who we are as an individual. You know, like a lot of people know that I love to drink wine. I'm not drinking wine as of yesterday. I'm taking a 30-day break, but that's a huge passion of mine, and I can share that with the people on social media. You know, I love to take bubble baths. That's the way that I relax every evening and kind of disconnect. I think, you know, sharing stuff like that. So posting bathtub photos, you know, would you like this? It's just, again, getting people to understand who you are. I think a lot of people are afraid to, you know, run advertisements on social media, whether it's a boost or it's an actual polished ad. Most of the time that your ads are doing really well, or I should say your posts are doing really well, it's an opportunity for you to boost it and, you know, spend a couple dollars to have that post reach a little bit farther out, helps your brand, and of course gets more eyes on your, you know, your page, and of course what your value that you're sending. As far as don'ts, oh my goodness, there's so many things. You know, I think a lot of people expect that realtors post the same thing, and I know that there is a sea of us out there. I mean, there's what, 77 on this call. We're all different, and we all have a different story to tell, and we all have different clients to tell, and or, you know, we have different clients. We should take the opportunity on social media to show why we are different. You know, Rosie's got an all women team that are like, you know, a bunch of powerhouses, and you can tell just by their photos that they're like super well acquainted and that they all work really well together, versus like, you know, our team is a little different. Like, I think that you have to show who you are and not be afraid to put yourself out there. I know, like me, I have a twin brother. He lives in the same city as me. I have to remind him all the time, like, there are ads out there. People might think that you're me, you're the skinnier version. I've got more hair. Like, they may not notice. We have to make sure that we are, you know, polished, but also like who we are as a person. So I think there's that. I also think a lot of people spend time, and like, this is one thing that we really try to look in the mirror and make sure that we're not asking for business a lot on a lot of our posts, right? Where our job is to give information. Our job is to be a valuable real estate team and give them obviously content and really share stories, right? So if you look at like a lot of our posts, they are stories of, you know, why the client decided to live in Maple Valley, Washington, or where they relocated from, or what is their career that's causing them to make change, versus it being about price and location and, oh, they spent $1 million. It's like, nobody cares. They want to know who the person is that you're helping. And I think a lot of times it kind of correlates. Again, if a doctor is working with us, then that shows that that profession of a caliber of individual is willing to work with our team. I think there's somebody out there that can correlate with that. I think a lot of people use templates. I know Canva is an extreme you know, app that people use rather often to create branded posts. I think it's a great tool, and we use it within our house. But a lot of times people are just putting copy over photos, which kind of eliminates the purpose of a photo. And then I think that was really all of my do's and don'ts for you.
Any other tools you use that they should know about in social media and posting right now?
No, I think there's a huge opportunity to scheduling it out. I know we try to work 7 days out, so anything that we're doing is, you know, scheduled 7 days out. So we know what our content mix looks like. We understand, you know, who is engaging. We know when our listings are coming. So we spend a lot of time planning what is actually going out. You know, when is the right time to post, if our engagement's down. You know, a lot of people don't track their numbers, and I think it's just like a greatness tracker. You have to consider social media as a complete different umbrella of a database where you have a ton of people, you know, that are following these pages. Like, it's a whole nother book of business, and we have to figure out how to stay in front of them, just like an email campaign or, you know, a postcard campaign. It needs to be the same kind of thought process.
So kind of a social media greatness tracker. That's a great idea. I just put that down. So did you find out when is the best time to post?
No, Michelle tracks that because she tracks all of our numbers. Right right now we're just double downing. So we're doing basically 2 posts a day. And we're kind of doing that late lunchtime and then obviously later in the evening after dinner, the kids are in bed. I mean, some posts are obviously, not designed, to get engagement. They're just obviously information. But you think about it, like if you post at 6 o'clock and somebody's making dinner and they're in the kitchen and they're stirring the noodles and they're looking and they're scrolling, their one hand isn't available for them to actually go, oh my God, this is a great listing. So they're just going to keep scrolling and you just missed engagement, right? Because they saw it, but they weren't willing to take the time because they didn't have that second hand. Same thing like people that are driving during working hours, right? They've got their hand on the radio or they got their hand on their phone and the steering wheel, they're just scrolling. They're not actually going to fully engage in the conversation that you put in front of them.
So have you noticed, now that everybody's home for a while, and maybe for the next few weeks, May 4th, we'll see what happens, have you noticed an uptick in viewership, or have you noticed any differences with people being home?
Yeah.
What do you notice?
I mean, even myself, obviously I'm busy. I'm doing, all of the things that I need to do to generate business. I think that's where everyone's at. I mean, can you imagine if we didn't have social media right now, we would only be watching the TV.
And you're mainly on Facebook and Instagram?
Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, we're on LinkedIn as well. We don't, right now we're really trying to focus on just getting really good. And obviously Facebook was good, Instagram is good. And now we're kind of working onto the next platform, which would be obviously YouTube and LinkedIn. So we're on there. They're just not fully built platforms just because, again, we don't do anything half-assed. We want to make sure that we can commit, right? A lot of people just jump right off and they're like, I'm going to be on all these platforms, and then you can't manage it, especially if you don't have a team or, like I said, a team member that does it full time.
So how many posts nowadays? How many posts are you doing a week? I'm sorry. How many posts a week?
About 2 a day.
So 14, 7 days a week?
Yep.
Okay, so you're all in. You're all in. And your number, like I said, 31 closed and pending, a little over 3 months a year, and you have business rolling now, which, I realize it's different was, but we'll get through that. Anything else that you should know about online leads and anything else you're doing, good online opportunities?
I mean, we boost obviously some of our top performing posts. Obviously, we run ads. Like there's a branded video that's part of our pre-listing process that we run 24/7 in our Maple Valley market, which is an ad. So there's obviously lots and lots of traffic on that. But I think again, it's a long game. It's all about being consistent. And people reach all the time. I had somebody today in California that is in my follows my social media, but obviously I'm not licensed to sell there, but they're like, Brad, can you get me with a realtor? I have some questions. I'm first time home buyer. I'm not getting a 3% commission on it, but I still have an opportunity to generate business wherever they live. And I think some people think like, oh, well, they live out of state. Well, there's still an opportunity for us to network with another great agent in that market.
I think these are times you really got to be the relevant voice in today's market because you are the message. And so they're seeking him out because of what they see online, and now they're counting on him to give them a good referral out of state. So it all kind of compounds as we go forward, So anything else you can share with us on social media as far as what's helped you the most with social media? And I know agents can go to your Facebook page to see quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously what's helped me the most is hiring a full-time employee. I know a lot of people believe that that's obviously a hefty expense. And obviously if you're a solo agent, you have to start somewhere. And before I had Michelle, it was me. I know, obviously Rosie Rourke and Josh Hall have their individual people, which do a great job. And they, again, have great platforms. So, I mean, there's a lot of agents in our offices that are good at social media and they do it in different ways. And I think that, it's great. It gives us an opportunity to collaborate and share. But I think at the end of the day, like the people that are following your page, they want to be in relationship with you. They don't need to be sold, especially if you're posting 2 times a day. If everything is written as an ad, then it kind of defeats the purpose. I think the key word is it should be an engagement tool to have conversations daily with your audience. And I think, again, like, track your stuff. You know, we run all of our numbers versus a competitor in Maple Valley. We run our numbers against Rosie Work's numbers. We run our numbers against Josh Hall's numbers. I mean, it's important to see what your pages are doing versus other pages so that you can tweak, right? Just like, you know, if we want to get 7 appointments a week, we need to figure out how many calls it takes to get to that appointment, and, you know, vice versa. I think it's really important to just, it has to be a full-time commitment. It can't just be, oh, I'm just going to post once a month. If you're going to post every listing, you post every damn listing. If you're going to post every sold, you post every sold with the family. And it doesn't matter if the family is pretty, you know, if they're not pretty, if they bought a 500, it doesn't matter. You totally capture every audience that you can in those photos.
But how many, so I'm going to talk a little bit about, you have a database of how many people now that you're marketing to?
Well, we've kind of got a couple different things. So I run 3 lists for VIPs, past clients, and vendors. And then in an email list, we have 6,000, and that's obviously for the 5 of us on the team. And then obviously social media, we have, I think, like 928 on Instagram, and then about 1,600 on Facebook. So like I said, the way that I work it is everything is its own individual database.
Okay. And you have a farm of how many?
Well, we were doing 8 neighborhoods. This year we decided to go on our postcard campaigns all of 98038. So the entire Maple Valley zip code will get a mailer.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about business is happening. What are you sending to your database and your farm to let them know business is happening, sales are happening, and you're working? What are you sending? What are you doing? How do they know that you're working, you're not in lockdown, and business is happening?
So as far as database, obviously John L. Scott has some great tools. You know, we're using the housing updates that come out on the 1st of the month, and those are great things to obviously stuff if you have the financial capacity to do so. Otherwise, the email works just as well. So we use it for email. Obviously, there's the buyer and seller campaigns, the holiday campaigns, and then you know, everyone on our database that owns a home is getting a home valuation through, you know, our website. So that is 4, you know, 4 emails a month that they're getting every single month from us.
So are you saying you're mailing them the housing update as well as emailing?
No, we just do email. Okay. The only thing that we're mailing to the database is a letter of the heart, and that goes to, I think, 1,000 people right now. Get a monthly letter that's, you know, branded, but it's literally written from me, and, you know, somebody edits it, and then another person edits it, and then we attach photos and we send it out by the 7th of the month.
Okay, so what are you sending them? They know that you're selling houses. Are you doing just sold, just listed? How do I know you're selling houses?
Not to the database. Nope. The database is all just about relationship. Okay. I let the social media play that, you know, to the database, because that's where a lot of my database is, right? Their
peeps are there.
I spend the money if they're already online. As
How
far
about your farm, how about your farm?
Yeah, so as far as farms, we obviously do door drops. Well, we were doing just listed, just sold door knockers, just because it was cheaper to use our labor versus the actual, you know, post office, you know, mailers. So right now we're just doing quarterly. So we sent one out in February. We're going to send one out next month. It's just a postcard. It's a full size, big one that goes out to everyone in 98038, and that's the only postcard that the farm is getting. Besides, you know, if we put something in a listing, we'll send out 50 postcards that were just listed or just sold, since we can't do the door knockers right now. As far as some of the other things that we're doing in the farms, obviously, since most of the team lives in Maple Valley, we're a part of individual neighborhood community pages. So like, I'm in Maple Woods. I've got 3 different community pages right in Maple Woods. I used to live in Woodridge, which Michelle lives in, so she's got that one. Megan lives in Eastwood Forest, and then she just bought a new house, so she's in that. Lindsay's got one. So we have all these little individual community pages that we are sending. Obviously, we're sharing posts too that are really impactful that we think they should know. We're also doing market insight reports for those specific neighborhoods. So we'll attach a photo of the neighborhood, like the actual, you know, like there's like the header, it says like Woodridge, or, the name of the actual sign within that neighborhood. We'll take a photo of it, and then we'll just give them a link that we're tracking. And we use Bitly links so we can track everything from social media, so we know how many clicks it's getting, how many people are obviously viewing it. And we're sharing all of those highlights of those market insights to those specific pages. So like Woodridge specifically is a farm of mine, and every month they get a market insight report that shows what the traffic is. And if obviously I have a just sold, or I just listed a property, I'm sure to obviously toot my own horn so the neighbors know, they can correlate the two together and know who it is.
Are you guys also using buy side of John L. Scott's?
Yeah, we use it on our listing presentations, but we haven't really gotten deep into that.
So the buyer market analysis is what you use?
Yep.
Letting the sellers know. So the other thing that you did in your farm area, which was cool, why don't you share with them what you did with your competitor the other day?
Oh, well, it was kind of an April Fool's joke. So Jeremy Mellick is a local Maple Valley realtor. And obviously, we're both kind of in the market. And, I think it's important to have really solid relationships. That's one of our tagline, excuse me. And so I just messaged him. I said, hey, would you match a contribution to the Maple Valley Food Bank with me? And we can show the community that even though we are two different business operations, that we can come together and do the right thing at the right time for the community. And so part of the joke was that I would wear his branded gear, he would wear my branded gear, and we would take a photo out front of the food bank. But even before that, we just, switched gear, and I made a joke that we were merging our teams together and that we were going to be the new force of Maple Valley, which just got people to kind of see us. And then, of course, the next day it was, joke's on you. We are just matching donations to the food bank, and we love our community, and we're proud to be able to serve them. So just again, thinking outside of the box, finding creative ways to get people to engage, and yeah, people love it.
Just kind of have fun with it. It's kind of cool. So the other thing that we were going to talk about is how you wow, given the wow experience to your database when you can't get face-to-face with them. What are you doing to wow your database and your clients and your VIPs?
Yeah. Well, I'm obviously struggling. I love to be face-to-face with our clients. I love our clients. I think that the relationship with them means so much to me. So one of the things with the whole virus and obviously the way that we're adapting to change our business, I just think it's really important to be gifting. And obviously we've gifted, and we've always had a gifting plan, where we celebrate milestones in the transaction. And I think more than ever, we should be looking at opportunities to create a wow experience, whether that's like, my pre-listing packet, like setting the expectation from the start that we are not like the other agents. At the inspection, not only do we bring them our vetted vendor book, because we know that not everything is gonna get done on the 35R, and we may not even get a response from the seller. So we might want to give them a solution, which is these are professionals in our local market that can give you great service. Obviously, it doesn't cost any money except for printing these little books. And then we give them, a pack of boxes that has bubble wrap and labels and tape and all the, the things that they need to do to get packing. And it's just a little card, and we drop it off. Like today, I'm going to go over to Fairwood, and I'm going to drop one on a doorstep, and it just says, let's get packing. Like, congrats on satisfying the inspection contingency. And obviously they didn't come to the inspection, so we didn't get to, have that moment. But here's two things that you can, you can have. And I think, again, when you show up out of the blue and they don't know that it's coming, and you give them something that's valuable, that's really thoughtful, because it's not just flowers, right, that are going to die. This is like, you're going to need to pack, and you're going to need bubble wrap, and you're going to need tape. And this is, us doing a silent activity of like, okay, you do need to start working on the next milestone. That's packing the house. You're moving. You're officially moving. And I think, again, the vendor book is just a nice touch of context, because a lot of these people are moving into the area and they don't know who to call and who's the best. And we as realtors, we have all those contacts. So why not share them? And again, like I said, it doesn't cost much. Um, Obviously, closing days are a little bit different. So doing, we have branded bags where we put wine glasses and some champagne with a card, and we do a little doormat. And then, one of the things that I picked up this last year was Meal for the Move. And I think a couple agents, like I think Moose Math does it. I'm not sure if Rosie does it. But you basically have them fill out a little input form at their buyer walkthrough, and you order pizza on the day that they're going to have the move. I mean, they need to eat. It's a really nice gesture. I mean, it doesn't cost a lot of money, and it just again shows you that you're thinking about them in the time of need, which is that they've got a ton of crap going on. And if lunch comes, I mean, we all got to eat, we all got to drink, and it's just again, it's outside of the box. It's you're thinking about your client, and you're creating these moments that they don't think that are coming, that show up, and you look like the star. You look like you're really thinking about them from an intentional standpoint. So the other day I had a seller that was contingent, and she needed, she was rushing around. She's got the kids, they're doing school, they're both working from home, they've got all these things going on. Well, there's a local catering company in town. It costs $60 for 4 people to eat. You send them their delivery service, and they had no clue that dinner was coming. And it's little things like that create those moments where the client's like, wow, even though I'm sure his business has dropped, or I'm sure that he's got a million things, he can think about me outside of the transaction and in a meaningful way. And I think that we all have an opportunity right now to look in the mirror and say, like, what are we doing based on the current situation to really, really think about our client? Like, okay, this is not a normal transaction. It's not a normal time. We want them to refer us, and we want them to remember us for how we handled the situation, even though like none of us right now have a crystal ball. I've been talking to Rosie all week for the last couple of weeks. Each week I check on her, she checks on me. We're sharing, we're collaborating. Like, we have to show the clients that we're doing everything in our control to create a great experience. And I just think a lot of us aren't really thinking about the little things that really paint a really big picture.
Well, I think that's a great point. A lot of great points there. But one point, right, everything matters right now. You got to realize your logo is not your brand. You're your brand. Everything you do and say is your brand. So now more than ever, you got to be the voice, and you got to show up. And they're going to remember how you made them feel. So if you don't feel comfortable delivering boxes to their door, then send them. Home Depot or whoever, send them the meal, right? You don't have to leave your house even, but they're going to know how you made them feel during these uncertain times. And we're getting used to new normals. We're getting used to staying home. We're getting used to this. But if anything, you got to take a deep breath before you ever call anybody, because you don't know their true situation. They might be paycheck to paycheck. They might be borrowing money. They don't know if they're going back to work or not going back to work. They might be on the forbearance program and going to have to list down the road when the forbearance is over and they owe money. They might be happy. I'm moving up. I'm moving down. I'm a first-time buyer. I want to get out of my condo. I want to move get some land. You don't know where they are, but you really have to take a deep breath almost any time in your career, more than ever now, because of this whole unprecedented times. So yes, it takes a crisis to get to 3.25% interest rates. It takes a crisis. The last crisis was 12 years ago, financial calamity, right? The government steps up, here's trillions of dollars, let's get the economy going. Same thing, virus, crisis, 3.25% interest rates, let's do the best we can to keep the housing market moving and people moving. But you're in a situation that's unprecedented. Hopefully we'll never see it again. And this isn't over, but this too will pass, but it ain't over. It's going to be a rollout little by little by little, and people will be comfortable at different times. But people are going to have to buy and sell in any economies, especially now. Don't forget, it's spring market. So you still have those families who want to move in the summer to be in a different school district or a different house, and they feel good about their jobs, and they're still going to move. But you have to be in touch. You have to have the right mindset of abundance, helping, caring, and supporting them wherever they want to be in the process. It's all good. We're there to help them along the way, and they'll remember that. And we're not there to sell them. We're here to help them, guide them, direct them, give them options and opportunities, and let them decide. That's what we're here to do.
Well, and I think even better than that, like we just have to listen. Like, I think a lot of us are, we're very solution oriented. I mean, that's what we do, right? We solve problems all day long. But I think they just want to be heard. And I think even just like me, last week I made, I don't know, I didn't quite make 100, but I made like 79 calls. And, there's a couple of them that were like defining for me. It's like, okay, these guys, they're solution oriented, but, they're struggling with the kids. Okay, what can I do? They mean a lot to me. They obviously have the needs, but like, how can you surprise and delay, right? So it's like, we're sending out 50 little movie night packs where it's like a red box ticket, a box of candy, a box of popcorn, some Brandon crinkle paper. And it's like Brad's top 3 movies during quarantine, right? Like, we love you so much. Like, we hope that you're, staying safe and the kids are doing well. Like, this is on us, right? It's like little things like that are what people need right now. They need to know that they don't need you to call and say, have you had any thoughts of selling? No, you just need to listen, and you need to just take really good care of them and show people you care.
But I think kind of, as you're talking about that, it's kind of a fun, you got to realize all these kids are home. I can't even imagine that, but some of you definitely can. So, one thing we did years ago, some of you remember, we used to do Halloween contests, and you agents would have your whole database. The kids would do a Halloween contest, they're coloring, you'd submit them, and then you give them prizes. And most of you guys gave prizes to all of them no matter what. So you can get that kind of stuff going on now where you're doing coloring contests, funny stories, funny family videos. You guys can kind of create in your brand a fun, upbeat thing for your databases to be doing and starting these kind of fun things along the way. Because we've got to think outside the box. I mean, they're going to be home a while. These kids got like a 5-month summer vacation or whatever, or maybe longer, we'll see. So it's kind of cool to be thinking outside the box like that. Go ahead, Brett.
There's a million things, you could send like window washing markers, washable markers, and do a contest like everyone, show me your houses, like how are you being, festive? Like there's so many little things that you can do and people like, I love kids, everyone knows that, but it's like when you love on someone's kid, like the client will love you twice as much. Like it's the nicest thing you can do. So I think, like I said, it's a good opportunity for all of us to look in the mirror and decide, okay, what are we doing to create really cool memories so that people, not only are they going to remember that they bought a house during a virus issue, that's going on, or are they going to remember us because we just took the money and ran? Like, we have to give them the same experience that we would whether we had a virus issue or not. Like, we just have to stand out. And I think
so. We have to have a kids fun package and a pets fun pack. Everyone has pets too these days. Yeah, so they can have funny pictures with pets and the whole ball of wax. You could have fun with it because it's going to be going on a while, So I know the other thing I wanted to can you talk about some of the off-market opportunities you've had? I know you've put together about 4 or 6 off-market deals. Kind of go over what you did for those off-market deals.
Yeah, real quick, Robin, I will send you the pizza form, and then you can see a sample of that. And then Philip says, we do the meal for the move. Clients love it. Like a contractor book. Any problem with clients not being happy with the work? Yeah, it's case by case.
Maybe we'll do the Q&A at the end.
You got it.
If you don't mind. And then if you could send me whatever, then we can get it out to everybody. So can you kind of talk about your off-market deals? I know you did about 4 or 6 of them. Can you talk about what you did for the off-market deals?
Yeah, I just recently did actually 3, and I think it just goes back to, working these community pages. Obviously, the more relationships you build with people in those neighborhoods, even outside of real estate, whether they need moving boxes and you have an extra stack because, a seller didn't need them and they didn't want to just recycle them. And so you picked them up and, you just build these relationships. But I think, obviously you have agents, right? Like I keep mentioning Rosie and Josh, right? These are amazing agents in our market that we are blessed to have in the same freaking office, but like they are willing to collaborate. They are willing to share. Like I'm willing to share. Like Rosie has given me as much, she's given me so many things that I've used in my business, and I will, work twice as hard to let her buyer in on my listing if I can, or, if vice versa. It's like, we have to just have these great relationships. And I think a lot of us are so, we just have big egos and we want to be the best. It's like, this is not the time to be the best. This is time to like roll up our sleeves, call your competitor, figure out if they have sellers that want to sell, but they don't want to put their homes on the market, and you have an identified buyer that's looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home that's 2,000 square feet. Do you have any options? And you start working the relationship. You're on the ground, you know. And then, like I said, the Facebook pages, I think, like the 2 that I put together was just, one is my neighborhood, one was my old neighborhood. It's like, okay, well, does anyone want to sell and would be interested in, not being represented, but I have an identified buyer, we could do it this way, and you just start the conversation. And if you're showing value every single month by giving them the market insight reports and showing them what the community sales are, and, that you're active, they trust you from a professional standpoint that they're okay moving forward without representation, and you put the deal together. But I think we have to get scrappy. We have to get, boots on the ground. We have to figure out where are the opportunities and look for them. Rosie threw out a great topic last week, which was that title company would give out email addresses. And it's like, I had never heard of that, but you believe me when I say I called Old Republic Title and I got 579 email addresses. That is 579 new relations that I am super grateful to have, because those are people that may have a need, and now they will be receiving 4 emails a month and they will know who I am, and it's another opportunity. But I think you just have to be willing to think outside of the box. Right now, it's not, let's just move forward business as usual. It's like, no, it's case by case. What can I do today to give this client or satisfy the client's needs, like in any capacity?
Yeah, right now having daily goals and a hit list and a schedule is critical. I'm running off 1-week goals and 1-day goals and hit lists, and I'm just going through it. Right now I know a lot of agents are doing backup offers, and now some of them are coming through because other deals are either falling through for one way or another. So backup offers are working, and of course calling the listing agents on canceled or off markets is also working. So we are getting scrappy, as Brad put. We're getting down to it, right? And that's where the rubber meets the road in this kind of a market. So you just have to understand, we're all just saying, okay, let's do this thing. And we are blessed in this office, in this culture, to have agents who are giving back. You saw, Brad, Rosie, Robin, Josh, John. And we have a lot of agents who will step up and want to be a part of our mastermind. We want to hear from you, though, what you guys want to hear coming up in the weeks ahead, right? And so we'll talk about that toward the end. So I want you to talk a little bit about how you're streamlining the listing process and the video and all that, the pre-listing video and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So last October, we actually had kind of a moment where I felt like I was starting to interview more against multiple agents, and I actually lost 2 listings, and I decided, like, man, something is wrong with my process. Like, something isn't working. Like, I'm not outshining. I feel like I'm giving them everything I need. Like, what can I do to just set the tone from day one? And so we created kind of a pre-listing process that basically we door drop the day at least 24 hours ahead on the front porch. And we're still doing it today, where we're dropping off a package. So, like, I'm going on a listing appointment tomorrow at 10, and yesterday they got a little pre-listing packet. It literally looks like this. And it's got the black box, it's got an intro form, and then it has a video card so they can get to understand who I am as an agent, and then of course who we are as a brand. And I think that it sets the tone. No other agent is coming in with a presentation. Obviously the black box, I'm a big believer in it. But there's obviously ways that we can elevate it. Obviously it's just a cheap paper bag, but it's branded. It's got a lot of meat and potatoes in it. There's a lot of different layers to it. And I think that the pre-listing packet that has, an all about you form and a seller's questionnaire and, a home features list, all of these things, how much the utilities are, all of these little tools here make it so that you stand out. The competition does not know they're not doing it. I can tell you nobody in my area is doing it, where they're asking the right questions and they're making it easier for the seller. All I need you to do is fill this stuff out, and then all I need to do from there is I'll come to your house, I'll take, you know, a handful of photos. We can then do a video conference the next day, and we can talk about what we're going to need to do to stage the house, when's the right time for you. But you give them all the details, you have them fill it out, they scan it back to you, or you can pick it up when you take the photos. It literally is piece by piece by piece. But the video cards, I think, are huge. I've talked, I think, with Saul and a couple other people about them. They've changed my business. When people open the card and it literally shows who I am as an agent, and of course who we are as a brand, I think is, it's like a no-brainer. So they are expensive. I don't know if you want to play it.
You want to play it, Colin, please?
You got it coming up.
Okay. Here's Brad and team. Well, this is your pre-listing video, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Brad Hanson, realtor and team lead with the Bradley Hanson Real Estate Group. We obsessively work hard for our clients, no matter where they're located. For us, it's all about the details. Not only do they matter, they are crucial to giving our clients the best experience with the best possible outcome in every unique situation. Whether you're relocating to the area, downsizing, or looking for more space to grow, we are here to serve you. We do the heavy lifting so you don't have to. We are master logistical experts handling each aspect of the process to ensure that it's both seamless and enjoyable. With over a decade of sales experience and hundreds of closed transactions, I close at an average of 3.4% above asking when selling your home. This is accomplished with our results-proven full-service listing guarantee, providing our clients with a pre-inspection, professional in-home deep cleaning, masterful home staging, drone photography, a strategic social media marketing campaign, among many other services to ensure that your property stands out to that perfect buyer. Our clients rave about how confident and knowledgeable we are in our local market and the neighborhoods we specialize in. From Maple Valley to Black Diamond and Covington to Kent, South King County is our home, and it brings us joy to welcome newcomers to our area. You'll find that partnering with us, whether you're buying or selling a home, is only the beginning of an exciting relationship with our team. Some might even say that relationships move us, not transactions. That because of the people we serve, we absolutely love what we do. To get in touch with us, give us a call at 425-577-3739 or visit us at bradleyhansongroup.com.
That was good. So you started this about how long ago, Brad? About a year? Sorry? October. Okay. Little we know back then that this is more of a powerful tool today because you can't go to their house. Or some people don't want you to go to their house, so you can send it to them or drop it off, right? So he has one here, and now what also he's added to this is your brand one, right?
Yeah, so it's it took me about 4 months to realize that, and probably thousands of dollars, that you can actually loop the videos. So if you have multiple videos that you want to showcase on one card, you can do so. And I didn't know that. And so I was giving out 2 videos, like Saul has 2 of those cards. And so now we loop them where it has the branded video followed by our virtual 3D videos that we are now using. So again, it shows them, this is how we're moving forward with the new procedures of, COVID-19, and this is a way that we're going to market the property, and they get to see what the video will look like. So it's just a sample of one of the past listings that we, had recently done that shows again what the marketing will look like for that specific listing. And so again, my whole thing right now, the way that I'm winning listings is just giving them everything they need to know about me. So of course, past sales and, a map of sales and addresses of sales and, what our full service listing guarantee entails and who we are as a team and what our roles are, and then samples of marketing, all of that stuff. And then they know who I am. So when I walk in the door, we can talk about what is their problem? How will I solve their problem? How can I help them navigate the market? What are we doing to keep them safe? And how I'm going to handle the process. One of the things that's in that listing package is obviously the questionnaire, which I think is huge. It definitely helps me as a listing agent because it eliminates conversation. I used to have 1.5-hour listing appointments. Now they're about 40 minutes. I already know everything I need to know about when they made these updates and how much they spent on these updates and why they chose to make those updates. And then, I know what the utility information is. It makes it quicker so we can talk about the real important things of why they're hiring me as a professional versus why they should choose my brand.
Okay, so I know one thing we can't sort of do now, but that I know you did before, is you already had, you would go in, talk a little bit about how you go in, you have you have bids already coming in on carpet if it needs carpet, paint if it needs paint, just kind of how that whole formula worked when we could have, when we could have contractors in again, which I hope is in the next few weeks. So your normal listing procedure before, so you made it a no-brainer for sellers.
Yeah. What do you want? What are you asking, Saul?
Okay, in other words, you had a carpet bid on that one listing. You got the seller a paint bid right away, a carpet bid right away, and you took care of everything. You just kind of quarterbacked the whole middle, made it very easy for the older seller.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we obviously have a vetted vendor book. We have people that, just like most of us agents, right? We have these professionals that we lean on. And for me, I like to handle all of the details of the listing. Like I would rather get them multiple bids, let them look at them, and then I do the scheduling and I put together a calendar of events. So we literally give them a full calendar that says, okay, this is the day that the cleaner is coming. This is the day the stager is coming. This is the day that we're going to go on the market. This is the day that, or you're going to have 2 weeks for prep. Like this is the day the video is being done. So they know, and we try to simplify it. So it's only 7 days. It doesn't need to be 3 weeks or, obviously it's case by case, but like we're putting one on this week. I literally have been there. I haven't been there, but our team of however we're working through their needs, it's stacked. Every day we have something going on so that it's just in an orderly fashion versus let the seller do it and then we hope that they perform like we want them to do. So I would rather be the one. I know it is an extra step and obviously we have a million things to do, but I'm a control freak at heart and I would rather know that it's me that fell short than putting it into a seller's hand and saying, okay, this is not what decluttering looks like. We need to push it out a week.
Yeah, so I know a cranky seller that you worked with. This person was blown away by how the thing was very seamless and it was a no-brainer. And I think that's what most sellers are looking for, especially in today's world. You got to realize some people are more panicky than others on the whole virus thing. And like I said the other day, a few minutes ago, we don't know where they are in their life cycle. We don't know if they have a job, don't have a job, paycheck to paycheck. We don't know all that stuff. We should be donated Northwest Harvest or local food banks. Anything we can do to help and support, that's what we should be doing, I think. My opinion only.
They're leaning on.
Sorry?
I just think more than ever they're leaning on us. Like they have the kids' schools, homework to work. They've got their jobs. They're trying to keep their employment. They want to, make sure they're paying the bills. They don't need to worry about what time the landscaper is going to come to put in new sod or, when the inspection's going to just whatever you can do to make it happen for them, you should just do it.
You guys got to realize we're not going to have all the answers because we don't know.
Yeah.
If someone's asking me, should I put on my home on the market now or wait till next year? We don't know that answer. We don't know how this plays out. What I do know right now is what the market stats are telling me is we have a lot of buyers and not enough homes. Yeah. So if you're telling sellers to wait or not wait or whatever, I would never take that responsibility. I don't want that responsibility. I like to sleep at night. I give them the options that they can have and let them decide what's best for them. But what we do right now is we have a very active market with not enough homes to sell in many price ranges. But you have to be priced right, market right, and all that good stuff. So we're not going to know all the answers because we don't know how this whole virus thing plays out. And you're going to have some people when the governor says we can go do this, that, or the other thing, we might have masks, we might have gloves, whatever it is. But people have to be safe. But one thing we do know, they're going to have to buy and sell when they want to buy and sell. We just have to customize our approach for us to be safe and healthy and also customize our approach to each client, right, as we move forward.
Well, and I think that's why it's like, even like I said, on Tuesdays I contact all of my, clients that are shopping, all the clients that are going on the market, and then everyone that's in contract. It's like more than ever, we need to be touching them every week. Like I called a client, that's contingent. I'm like, traffic is slow. I don't have an answer. All I can tell you is all of our online views are looking good. I've checked all of the links. I'm ensuring that you can view it. I'm making sure that all the photos are there. I'm, reaching out to fellow brokers that are in the same market at the same price point. How's your traffic? What buyers, is there buyers that are shopping my house versus that house? Like, we have to be willing to pick up the phone. I called, Rosie again last week, and I'm like, hey, do you have anything that's coming on that, is this, and that? Would you, chat with me about that? Or, how's your traffic? Do you have any listings that are sitting? What are you doing? Like, we just have to collaborate and not be afraid to be honest. Like, nobody has, at least, me, I'm a newer broker. I've never been through anything like this, personally or professionally. And I'm not afraid to say, I don't have the answer, but let me use my valuable assets, which are my relationships, and, pick up the damn phone.
One thing we do know in talking to a lot of the agents, you guys have a lot of buyers. So if the right product came up, you guys have buyers. So we know there's a lot of buyers saying, I want that 3.25% interest rate. I feel good about my job and my future. Let's go do this thing. I'm in an industry that I feel comfortable, my job's secure. We came up with a letter. I'll just do a quick read. This was done yesterday, thanks to Sadie in helping me. But you got to realize there's no more iBuyers out. These letters, we have a buyer for your home, is tweaked quite a bit for today, okay, which I'll read here in a minute. But here's the deal. This is more relevant for today than ever before. We used to have this buyer because of shortage of inventory, which we have. But now you have sellers who don't want people in their homes, or they're private, or they're hoarders, or whatever. So they want more off markets than ever before if that's their deal. If they want to go to the market and get top dollar, that's fine too. So I'm going to go quickly read this letter, and then we'll get it out to you guys today. It says, we have a buyer for your home. Dear seller, we have a family that is looking to purchase a home in your neighborhood. Now, you could be Fairwood or whatever, just leave a neighborhood. As you may know, there are not many homes for sale in your neighborhood. We have narrowed down our client search to homes that fit their criteria, and your home may be one of them. If you've been thinking of selling, we would appreciate the opportunity to schedule a private showing while observing strict sanitary standards. We can accommodate for a quick closing or extended closing, whichever works best for you. At John L. Scott Kent North, or your team name or your name, our main focus in working with you is primarily your safety and good health. With historic low interest rates and dramatic low inventory of homes, buyer demand is high in many neighborhoods. If you'd like further information on how we can help you accomplish your housing goals or have any questions regarding today's real estate market, please text me, call me, email, blah, blah, blah. Your home may be worth more than you think. So these letters, you got to figure there's no more iBuyers, guys, right? So if people want to be off markets, this is gold, right? This is gold. If you have buyers, you could tweak it to send it to wherever you want, but we'll get this out today. And the other thing that umbrellagraphics.com, Marty, has come up with different postcards for this market. And so if you go to umbrellagraphics.com, real estate, new forms, he has that. But then Josh Hall, he came up with one he said we could share. And he sent this out to his farm in his database. In these unprecedented times, we can guide you through the process of buying or selling a home. Let us show you how. Call today for a free video consultation to discuss your real estate needs. Even in the midst of a pandemic, many people still need to buy or sell. Although our current situation presents some restrictions, we have the tools to get the job done. From virtual consultations to digital signings, we can ensure the health and safety of everyone involved. If you want to buy or sell a home, give me a quick call. We can talk through it together. So bottom line, there's a lot of marketing going on. There's a lot of happening. So while the rest of the industry is going to be pulling back, I do believe in the 80-20 rule. It's been around forever. 20% of the people will make 80% of the money. 20% of the agents in our market at the highest, maybe 10, let's say 20 to stick to the rule, 20% of it will be engaged in today's world, in today's market, and we'll take it to the other side. Because this is going to be ongoing for a while. But there's going to be buyers and sellers. We already see that. We have more buyer demand than listings every week on Market Watch, right? And price reductions are price reductions. That's fine. That's a good thing too. So you got to realize we got verbiage. We got all kinds of things that's going to help you, for today to be very, very relevant for today and set us apart from our competition. right? So what other words of wisdom do you have for us, Mr. Brad?
I don't know if I have any other words. I would just say think outside of the box, you know. I think more than ever, relationships matter. Like we said, like I have no problem picking up the phone and asking for help. And I think that there's a lot of people that I remember when I was a newer broker, I was afraid to call and say, hey, what would you do in this situation? Or, can you help me here? I'm having a struggle here, whatever. Like, we are some of the best agents in the industry. And I think that we should latch on to whoever is willing to, share. And I think that there's a lot of talent in our offices. And I think that there's a lot of agents that will share. And so I think that if you have time and you have a struggle and you need help, or you need to, get information, or you want to collaborate, or you want to run ideas through, like this is the time for you to do it. And it's there for your taking if you're willing to put in the work. I know that I'm grateful for all of the people that have given me a ton of information, and that's why I've been able to build my business. And I think that some of you guys just need to seize the moment. I mean, I know I'm super grateful for obviously all of our management. I think that, Saul has connected me with some of the best, bankers and financial people and CPAs, and they're taking great care of me. And like, I wouldn't have that without that relationship. So I think if you aren't in a relationship mindset, you need to figure out quickly how to do so, because the ones that have the relationships right now, whether that's with a banker or a contractor or a photographer or a fellow agent, like more than ever, it's going to matter.
Well, I think, there's a lot of good points here about relationships. I think if you look at with life here, in our profession, it's all about knowledge, skills, reputation, and relationships. And you better be relevant and all that. One thing I've said for years, it shows up all the time, I see it showing up now, is the most expensive item for a lot of people isn't their car payment or their house payment or their rent, it's their ego, right? They want to be right. They want to be this. They're afraid to ask for help. So ego for some people is the most expensive item they have, and it costs them money, it costs them relationships, it costs them opportunities. So get rid of your ego, because we're learning and growing. I think you have a question from Rosie. For that video card you showed us, do you take it back or leave it with your client?
So I do pick it up. Obviously right now I am not picking it up just because of everything that's going on. But in the past, yes, I would. When I met with him in person at the listing appointment, I would ask for the black box. I would run through a couple of the really important pieces in the black box that I want to make sure that they physically saw. And then I will swoop the actual cards and put it under my file, and I'll walk out the door with it because they are expensive and they can be reused.
Okay, any other questions you guys have before we close up here with a few thoughts? Then go ahead and write them down. I just want to say a few things. If you see them, we'll do them here in a minute. First of all, I want to let you guys know this is a totally different thing than anyone's ever been in, and we're going to be there through for a while. And so you got to realize the time to change is now, because there definitely will be agents on the other side of this that aren't going to make it. That's just life. That's just going to happen. It happens with every recession, every downturn. It always happens. Okay, that's not our game. Our game is anybody who wants to succeed and be part of the 20%, which we want our whole team to be, steps into this whole thing. But you got to change. You got to change. If you haven't read the book Mindset, I get the book Mindset by Dweck, D-W-E-C-K. It's all about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Because if you're growing and going in today's environment and market in the new world we're going to be in on the other side, you're going to rock and roll. But if you got a fixed mindset and try to work yesterday's world, I'll wait for the market to change, I'll wait for this, I'll wait for that, it ain't changing anytime soon, I'll tell you that. You're going to be in this for a while, but people are getting used to it, more comfortable with it. So it's going to be what it's going to be. Whenever the mall's open and all that, who knows? But we're about buying and selling houses. So you got to realize it's all about knowledge and skills and your reputation and your relationships that you have with other people. But you have to look and ask yourself right now, where do I step up right now to make sure I'm moving the needle forward in this market? And what am I doing to prepare? What's my plan on the other side of this? Okay? Because we're moving forward. We're going forward. This too will pass. I know it doesn't seem like you're in it sometimes, but it does. But you have to understand, for me to look at homes, these market updates, you see all the top agents are using these things, right? The tools. So John Scott had 270,000 these market updates go out, and you have to pick the market area that's going out. But if you don't have these going out to your database, right? The last three people we've had here, Rosie, Robin, and Brad, they're using Josh's. All the top earners are using these things, or they're putting them in play, right? And I'd be getting these things out the door, because you got to understand, you can't linger anymore. The wiggle room is gone in our industry. The industry is changing dramatically. Relationships are going to matter more than ever, which is cool. That's what we do. We have systems, we have plans, we have programs, we have people who are willing to share, but we can't do it for you, right? You got to have to kind of step up and figure it out. So what we're going to do next week, we're going to take next week off from a speaker, but I want to kind of go over a few things maybe you need to look at. And then you can give us some ideas and suggestions on other speakers or topics you want to talk about, either agents or outside. Let me know, let your managers know. But I think if I were you, knowing what I know about this business after 45 years and where you're at, I've been through a lot of recessions. Yes, I haven't been through a virus. It needs a medical solution. I got all that part, but I know that the opportunities are going to be more than ever, because the agents who don't make it, or the agents who are not marketing, the agents who are hiding under the covers in our industry, all their databases are up for grabs, right? They are disappearing. They're not the solution to their database. They're not the solution to their farm. So I would say, okay, in the next 30 days, what is my marketing plan to my database? If I have a farm, what's my database to my farm? I'm just taking 30 days right now. What do I have to do today, this week, to move it forward? Maybe I want to redo my dream letters or whatever. That's all good and fine. But you got to spend some planning time now to make sure you got an offense in place for the future. Because we're not in Kansas anymore. We're not going to see Kansas again. We're on to Seattle. I'd rather be in Seattle. The economy is good here. A lot of jobs here, a lot of opportunities here, but we can never forget that. But I have to have an offense, and I got to get in gear. So I'm hoping you take the next few days to really say, hey, what do I got to do to move my needle forward? What's the offense? You see, you have a bucket in my database. I have a bucket. I have to make, if I haven't called everybody A from Z on refinancing, boy, you're not doing your job, right? If you can save you $300-400 a month, 5,000 a year, 50,000 to 10 years, I love you if it makes sense for me to refi. You have a bunch of people who aren't going anywhere. That's okay too. We're here to support them. You have some people who are going to buy or sell or what now or maybe later. Then you have some who are going to have to sell down the road when their forbearance is over or whatever. You're going to have to nurture them along until that time happens. There's a lot of moving parts here. You need to plan each one. But I would be marketing to people, whether videoing or postcarding. We did all kinds of things. We got letters here. I just make sure I have an offense in place. Don't wait for the market to change. It's not changing. You're in a spring market. You have people buying. We have more buyers than sellers. You're in a spring market. So don't forget that. You have people who want to move because their plan was move in the summer when the kids are out of school. Well, the kids are out of school and they still want to change school districts, so they want to move or move up or move down. Some older people like to move when it's warmer, so now they're looking at it. So we have a lot of different solutions out there. I want to get into solution mode, abundance mode, and make things happen mode, because like I said, this too will pass as we move down the forward. Robin had another question, Brad. Would you?
So we actually just ordered another bulk of 50. They're about $1,200 for 50 of them, and they are branded. And they come with chargers, and you can literally record from your phone, and you can put the phone video recording, it just literally syncs. So if I can do it, you can do it. And I know they are expensive, but I think it's a huge, huge impact. And for me, it's worth every penny. So.
And don't forget, so if you're going to take the next few days, Rosie went over 21 things you can do while you're staying at home to move your business forward. Look at her 21 list. We emailed them out. Pick one, action plan, move it forward. Don't take 21, take one or two and move it forward. Brad went through a whole bunch of stuff here. Pick one and move it forward. What's the one thing you're going to do that's going to make a difference in your career, in your professional life moving forward? And we want to get into that. But those 21 things Rosie last week, the listing presentation Robin did, there's so many things here, and we recorded them all, so this will get sent out. I hope we record it, Colin. This thing get recorded? Good. So we're in solution mode, folks, and we're going to keep in solution mode. It's a spring market. Brad, thank you so much. You guys have a great day, and we got this. Take care. Thank you.